Hey folks, this is Kalani. The Dragonflight expansion is finally here. It's time to level up all of your toons and get ready for some dragon riding adventures on our way to the new max level of 70. But quite a few things are changing for leveling in Dragonflight. We'll be able to fly very early on, experience requirements are a little strange and you may find yourself too low a level to continue your campaign quests, and then there are also so many different ways you can actually get experience for you to play around with. So we're going to go through some very handy leveling tips and tricks to make sure you don't get lost and you can level in the most efficient or most enjoyable way for your playstyle. So here's our Dragonflight leveling tips and tricks you need to know. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Let's start with a quick recap of how questing works nowadays, because if you didn't play through Shadowlands early on, this might be new to you. Quests in Dragonflight will very clearly be marked as main story quests, that's the big icon with the shield around the exclamation mark, and then non-main story quests, or side quests, which are just a plain old exclamation point with no shield. You have to complete main story quests to progress through the zones and to unlock endgame content, so those are the ones you will want to prioritize in every case. They also usually provide you with significantly more experience when compared to any side quests. One of the most efficient ways to level through Shadowlands was to focus solely on those main story quests and skip almost everything else you come across. You can go back for the side quests later on if you really want the various rewards. Now, while you can do this in Dragonflight, there is one very important factor you need to know. Last time I checked, there is not enough experience just in the main story quests to get you to max level. In fact, if you try to only do main story quests and absolutely nothing else, you will actually run into level restrictions for moving into the next zone. I believe you need to be level 66 to continue certain questlines in the Azure Span, level 68 to continue certain questlines in Thaldraszus, and then you need to be level 70 to finish off the campaign. If you just try and do main story quests, you will hit those breakpoints below the level you need to be, so you are going to have to get some experience from another source besides the main storyline. So if all you do is focus on that main storyline and you run into a roadblock because you can't pick up the next quest, well, now you know why. Thankfully, there are plenty of other ways to earn experience to level in Dragonflight. To start with, I would kill any and every rare you come across on your map. Remember, the icon has changed to that 4-pointed star for a rare spawn, so whenever you see this icon on your minimap, run on over and help kill whatever is over there. You might get some shiny loot, but you will always get a good chunk of experience. With everyone leveling together in the early days of the expansion, all of these rares are going to fall over very quickly too, so it's not going to be any kind of big time investment, and you'll walk away with some free XP. There are also bonus objectives scattered around that you might run into while leveling. They typically just ask you to kill a few extra mobs in the area, maybe find a named mob and kill it, and generally just spend a bit more time beyond the other quests given to you. These will also reward you with very good experience for the time invested, so always complete the bonus objectives you come across. And then of course there are plenty of side quests you can complete as you level up as well. Between main quests, rares, bonus objectives and side quests, you'll have more than enough experience to meet those various level requirements and hit level 70 before you finish the main story campaign. So if you're doing all of these, I really wouldn't worry about your level. Side quests don't reward as much experience typically, so it's technically slower leveling overall, but they do reward a lot of reputation. So if that's something you're interested in for Dragonflight, I would just complete side quests as you level. You'll have to go back and do them at max level if you skip them anyway, so you may as well get them out of the way right away. Now if all you care about is speed and leveling as quickly as possible, getting your dragon riding as early as you can is also going to speed up your overall leveling time quite significantly. Dragon riding just by itself is going to speed up everything you do, including your leveling and your questing, so getting it early will speed everything up. So if you're interested in speed, first and foremost, I would skip over almost everything you can until you learn dragon riding. So only complete main storyline quests and go back for everything else later. This will probably speed things up quite a bit, but you will be leaving a lot of content that you'll have to clean up later if you want things like reputation, so it's gain some now for lose some later. Completely up to you. Now, another tip that I have for you related to dragon riding is to gather the dragon riding glyphs while you level. After you learn how to dragon ride, you'll be able to see the dragon riding talent tree. Most of these bonuses are passive, but they're going to improve your overall dragon riding efficacy in a variety of ways. One of the main restrictions you're going to run into while leveling, especially related to dragon riding anyway, is running out of vigor points. If you run out of vigor, you have to stay on the ground until those points regenerate, which means no more dragon riding during that time, which means slower questing and slower traveling in general. If you unlock these dragon riding talents while you're leveling, you improve your dragon riding. You'll be able to fly more often and for longer, which should both speed up your leveling but also make it quite a bit more fun. Unlocking these talents is super simple. Throughout the Dragon Isles you can find dragon glyphs. They're typically up in the air or in high spots around the map. There are 12 in each zone and you can gather them all while leveling. I'll pop a quick map up on screen for each zone with their glyph locations. Basically just when you're questing near a glyph, go grab it. Most of them are going to be just a short detour and they can help speed up your leveling later on quite significantly. You can also learn any of your dragon riding talents anywhere in the world. Just gather enough glyphs for the next unlock and you can learn something new. So you don't have to return to a dragon rider or anything like that, making it super efficient while leveling. If you want a more in-depth guide to gathering these dragon glyphs, we have a video that goes over everything, as well as some extra tips and tricks for dragon riding in general. There should be a link to that video in the top corner right about now, and you can also find the video in the comment section below. Now, because we'll get dragon riding so early and because it essentially lets you fly for the rest of the expansion, specific items that were previously quite useful for leveling, things like goblin gliders, they've lost a lot of their typical value. They might still be good up until you get dragon riding, but honestly there aren't that many situations where they'd be a massive time saver, and the period of time you're questing before you unlock dragon riding is so short, so personally I wouldn't recommend stocking up on gliders or any extra min-max items like that. You still can if that's what you want to do, I just wouldn't stress about it at all this time around. Save your gold for some extra profession progression instead. Now, another note that I have for you is that if you want to maximize your reputation gains while leveling, I would recommend you actually complete any and all side quests you come across. They're going to help you reach max level a little early in the storyline, but the main advantage is quite simply the reputation gains. If rep farming is something you're wanting to do to collect the cosmetic rewards, you know, pets, mounts, titles, transmog, all that wonderful stuff, or even just maximize your professions, you are going to need to do some rep farming. A huge part of those rep gains and farming is going to be doing side quests and extra quests in general. The experience from side quests isn't all that amazing, but again, you will need some extra source of XP to get to max level, and if you decide to complete all side quests, well, you'll probably hit max before you even finish the story, and you'll have a lot of reputation to kickstart your max level adventures. Now, there is another very interesting option for getting some extra experience while leveling: professions. You can get experience from professions in a variety of ways. The typical option for leveling is to pick up both herbalism and mining, and then just pick any nodes you come across. Each node you pick will give you some extra experience, and you can sell the raw materials early on for boatloads of gold. It's an easy double whammy. Get some extra XP and some extra gold, all while leveling on your way to 70. Something else you might be interested in if you're super looking forward to profession progression is that starting with double gathering professions and gathering while leveling will let you earn some profession knowledge with those professions. That knowledge isn't going to be useful to you if you plan on abandoning these professions, but the artisan's metal that you get for earning knowledge will be useful. So double gathering will potentially give you a few extra artisan's metal to kickstart your profession's progression at max level. That is a super min-max strategy though, and the overall gains will be very small, but it's something that might be of interest to you. Now, gathering has given experience for a long time now, so that's not really anything new, but what is new is that crafting professions can net you some amazing experience gains in Dragonflight as well. There are various bonuses tied to the first time you craft an item or recipe, the first craft bonus. You get some profession knowledge along with some artisan's metal, but you also get a big chunk of experience. It's the same amount or a little higher than a typical quest turn-in, making it very lucrative if you can craft a lot of your recipes early on. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't that mean I could just pick up a profession, craft the easy stuff for the first time bonus, then swap profession, and do the same thing over and over again to get the experience from every profession's first craft bonuses? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. There are actually speedrun leveling methods that do exactly that. I think someone managed to get to about level 66 in 30 minutes or something crazy by just using professions and the first craft bonus for experience gains. So yeah, incredibly time efficient, but extremely gold inefficient. The only way to achieve this is to buy everything to craft, which would be absurdly expensive at the start of an expansion. So it's not actually something you should consider, but you might be able to earn some extra XP by picking up both a gathering and a crafting profession and just make whatever you can while you can still benefit from those experience gains. This could be a super quick way to level alts in the future when prices start to settle down though. Now, this does mean you could level exclusively through professions if that's what you want to do. Both gathering and crafting give experience now, so you probably don't have to quest too much if all you want to do is level to 70 by farming your own materials and crafting things with them. That's a bit of an extreme idea and would probably be very, very slow, but the option is definitely there. And then the last good source of some extra experience while leveling is going to come from dungeons. So if you don't want to do too many side quests and you also don't want to spend too much time on professions, dungeons might be the best answer to reaching your experience goals and keeping pace with the levels required to work through the entire story campaign for Dragonflight. So, in summary, work through the main story quest line. You need to do that no matter what. You also need some experience from side quests, rares, dungeons, professions, or bonus objectives, or any combination of those activities. The main quest line alone is not enough. You can complete all side quests to get a jump start on reputation farming, or you can rush through the main quests and just do a few extra things on the side if you really want to level quickly. It's totally up to you. I would also recommend you collect dragon glyphs as you level, so your dragon riding experience improves as you level up. And then the last thing I want to say in this video is that leveling is actually pretty straightforward this time around. It's very linear, everyone will follow the same story, the same path, and will go through each zone in order. You can't really go wrong with leveling this time around, we're very much on rails. It's also not all too long in the grand scheme of things. I think folks have gotten the leveling down to about 6 hours, going quickly, so no matter what you do, the leveling portion of Dragonflight shouldn't be altogether too long. I also think it's just way more enjoyable this time around. I'm not sure if it's the scenery and the zone layouts, the addition of dragon riding super early on to let you fly for 90% of the leveling experience, or just that we're out of Shadowlands and looking forward to a new World of Warcraft experience. It's probably a combination of everything, but either way, I've had a lot of fun leveling so far, and leveling alts is actually still fun too. I'm kinda surprised. But that's all of our tips and tricks to make your leveling experience as efficient and enjoyable as possible for you. How are you going to level in Dragonflight? Are you going to zoom through the main quests first and go back for everything else later, or take the scenic route and collect and complete absolutely everything as you level through each zone? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. Big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you'd like to add your name to the end of every video with a special shout out at the start of the next video, you can find links in the description over to Patreon or click the join button just below this video. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I'll see you next time.